everyone. Welcome back to the Right Hand Gals podcast. It's Renee.
And it's Lyssa. We have a really exciting episode today because we have our first interviewee.
Guest.
We're interviewing, guest. We're interviewing my friend Taylor from Victoria Emerson. So she's going to be, or she works on the brand side of things. So we're really excited to talk to her today. But we're going to start today's episode, as always, with our highs and lows. Renee, tell me your high.
My high this week. I always think about these and I always get so nervous talking about my highs and lows for some reason. I don't know why it's so hard to figure out what is good going on in my life right now.
I know. I feel like we have to do these because it's such a good gratitude practice of wait, let me really figure out what it is. That's good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, I have one.
Okay, go.
Okay, my high this week is... So I think everyone knows I do consulting on the side. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my side projects. Yeah. And I was meeting with an influencer's assistant this week and just helping her with LTK stuff. And she's a new hire. So I was just kind of teaching her all the ins and outs of being an influencer's assistant. Mm-hmm. And whenever I was talking to her, I was asking her what's your goal for this job? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yeah. And her response was that she is wanting to eventually work for a bunch of different influencers and almost she literally wants what we're doing and to meet new people and assist other influencers and work all together with them. So I was sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to confess my whole life story to her at the moment, but I was just oh my gosh, that's literally what Lyssa and I want to do. And it was just kind of cool to hear that someone else wants what we are doing and what we want to do as well. So
yeah, especially being new in the industry.
Yeah. And that's I think she's pretty young. I think she's 22, 23. So I was just wow, go you for even thinking that far ahead, because when I was 22 and 23, I was not thinking about that.
Neither was I.
But also okay, we must be doing something right by one, having this podcast, but two, by wanting to grow Right Hand Gals just in general. Yeah. So that was my high for the week.
I love
my
that.
Low was, oh, I know. So, lately I have felt, after I just say that wonderful high about how we're growing so much and everything. Yeah. Lately I'm I feel that I'm just old and I should almost have more on my resume than I do. I'm 27 right now and I've only worked in the industry for about close to 2 years now. But I feel I should just be doing more. I should just do more. I don't
more with your career.
Yeah, more with my career, more with life things too, I guess. I don't know. I guess more with career. And I feel that's been, I feel a lot of people have said this in the past too, where I just feel insecure sometimes about not having as much on my resume as most people, because I went to school and then I dropped out of school and then I went to school again whenever I started school again whenever I was 25. And then I didn't graduate until I was 27. So it's just sometimes I feel
you're behind.
I could have done more. Yeah. And that I'm behind.
Yeah.
But
totally.
But then I'm sitting here staring at a Zoom with you talking on a podcast. And I'm okay, what more could I be doing? But I still feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I've been in the industry almost 4 years and I just turned 34. So you are at least ahead of me. But I know exactly where you're coming from, because I would be lying if I said I never struggled with that, or I don't currently feel that way sometimes. But I think for me, career-wise aside, it was just in life. I constantly felt behind. I didn't get married until I was 32. Obviously, I don't have kids right now. And all of those big life milestones felt like they took forever to happen for me. But in the last 2 years, I have hit more milestones and goals and really like changed my life more than I ever could have thought. And I think having it a little bit later in life, of course, I want to like find the positive in it because it's my life and I have no other choice than to either hate and feel negative about the way it's played out or find the positives in it. So for me, I'm just like, I appreciate this so much more because it took longer to happen and I had to work maybe a little bit harder. I had to really figure out what it was that I wanted. I didn't, just go get married to anybody. Michael and I knew each other for 10 years. We got married on our 6th anniversary. So all of those things that other people are like, oh, like, why did you date for so long? Like, whatever it was. Like, I kind of just had to know in my heart that was what was right for me. And that was, like, the best possible path that my life could take. And in this moment, currently, I am so happy and so proud of myself. And I think you kind of just have to, like, look at that side of it. And like you said, you're sitting here doing a podcast. Like, what else could you want? Take the time to, like, appreciate and feel proud of the steps that you've taken to get to where you are and use that like little bit of frustration or like longing for more to propel you through this next chapter and to like hit those goals that you want going forward because you'll get there. It just might not be in the way that you had always hoped. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I think a lot of people struggle with this too, which is like why this is like a little more serious or like vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like I hate talking about feelings, so the fact that I'm talking about like my feelings right now sickens me.
I know. I feel like we're having like a therapy session.
I know, but I know someone else would relate, and that's why I decided to like actually share like this is what I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah.
And I know it kind of seems silly too, like even whenever I say it out loud, I'm like, why am I so sad or stressed about this when like I am doing so much to like try to further my career? But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess for anyone else that feels that way, just remember like, just like keep moving on. You're doing your best and just keep working hard. And that's what I have to tell myself sometimes too.
Yeah.
But
you're not alone.
We're all going through it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, Lyssa, any highs or lows for this week?
I'm going to start with my low because I'm still like coming off of it. This has nothing to do with work or anything. But on Sunday, what's today? Wednesday? Thursday? Wednesday? So on Sunday, Michael and I went to his like grandma's little barbecue birthday get together. And I left early because I had some work I had to get done. And when Michael got back, he got back kind of late. I think it was like 8:30, which for us on like a Sunday night, that's like late.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten to eat because I was like so caught up with finishing what I needed to do. And Michael got home and he wanted to eat. And so we were trying to decide if we were going to like go get takeout really quick or just make something light. And I was like, you know what? I bought chia seeds and coconut milk. So I think I'm just going to like make some like chia seed pudding and then go to bed, whatever. And just so you know, my toxic trait is that I cannot use a recipe ever.
Oh,
and even
no.
if I pull a recipe out, I never stick to it. I don't know why I think I'm this like incredible cook or baker because I am not. And this has ruined me so many times. So I'm like, cool, you just like put chia seeds in a bowl and like add some coconut milk and put like some vanilla and then stick it in the fridge and then eat it a little while later, right? So that's what I do. Except I put way too many chia seeds and not nearly enough liquid. And I ate the entire thing. And I swear to you, the last bite, and this is like over a quarter of a cup of chia seeds. Okay. Like a lot. So the last bite I finished and I swallow and I'm like, oh no.
That was too much.
That was far too much. Chia seeds, like, if you don't know, chia seeds like expand like 12 times their size or whatever with liquid. And so I hadn't put enough liquid, and I'm, like, sitting on the couch feeling like I ate lead. Like, I have a bowling ball in my stomach.
It's the worst.
And we're trying to get through Bridgerton because the new season's coming out. And I'm legit, I get up and I'm standing and I'm just like trying to pace around the living room because my stomach hurts so bad. And I'm like, do I like go and like force myself to vomit because I know I ate too much and like I'm in pain? Or do I just like go to sleep and hope this will pass? Well, I go to sleep and I hope it'll pass. In the morning, I cannot even tell you the pain that I was in on Monday, like all day. No appetite. I could not eat anything. I had like a half a banana all mashed up because I didn't even want to like chew. And so now I'm like Googling it and I'm like thinking I'm going to die because it's like, be careful not to eat too many chia seeds because it can be very harmful to your digestive system and blah, 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 and cause all these issues. And I'm like, cool, I'm actually going to die. It took until today. Even today, I still feel like kind of full. Like I still don't really want to eat that much.
Oh my gosh.
All because I ate too many chia seeds. I just need to put this out there.
Well,
be careful with the chia seeds.
We are getting real personal on the podcast today. We're getting super emotional with Renee and then like comical with Lyssa, clearly.
So I just have to warn everybody. Usually I get these little like pouches from the store. They're like kind of like those kids like yogurt type pouches. And it's chia seeds and like a liquid, like a juice or something, they flavor it. And it's one of my favorite snacks, but I didn't have those. So I was like, it's fine. I'll just make the chia seed pudding. Never again am I going to try and make chia seed pudding. I am going to buy those Mamma Mia chia pouch things for the rest of my life because that was scarring.
I mean,
to me.
Honestly, that whole story was my new high. I mean, that really just turned around my whole day.
I'm so glad that I could be your high.
Oh my gosh.
My high today is that I got to eat real food.
Oh, okay. Keeping it on trend. Okay.
That was my high. No, I had a really cool email come in the other day with a potentially very exciting business opportunity that I obviously cannot say too much about, but just the fact that somebody else kind of believes in me and sees something special in what we're doing with Right Hand Gals and my business and all of that feels really good. So that is my real high.
Yeah, that's a double high. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to share more about that eventually.
Yes, hopefully soon, as soon as I know more and I can say something.
But, I mean, even if it doesn't work out, we'll probably still talk about it. So, we'll keep you updated either way.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go into the interview with Taylor now. Let's add her in. And we'll see you back in a second.
So we are super excited to welcome our very first guest to the podcast, one of my friends that I met through the industry a few years ago, Taylor Rath from Victoria Emerson. Taylor, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on here. Thank you so much for asking me.
Of course. I feel like the first guest for this podcast had to be somebody that we trusted because we are still like so new to this. So we're getting all our like first interview jitters out on you. Sorry, you're the guinea pig.
We also needed a friend.
Yeah.
Because we're nervous.
I've also never been on a podcast, so you guys are doing great for all I know.
Yay. I mean, first time for everything. So
yeah.
I think we kind of just like want to know more about maybe how you got into the brand side of the industry. Tell us what your job title is. Let's start there.
Okay, so my job title is brand manager, but I don't even know if that's my accurate title because we are a very small company. Like I've told Lyssa before, we're 5 people. We're actually, I was the first employee, and I genuinely believe my title is brand manager because like I'm doing everything. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'm brand manager. But I spend most of my time doing influencer collaborations and collections. So
that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's
like
how
manager.
Yeah, and that's how you and I met, really.
Yeah, it is.
At my last job, you were the point of contact, and we talked all the time. And so lucky that we were able to maintain that friendship. So, can you tell me a little bit more about how you got into this role in particular?
Yeah, so I've been at Victoria Emerson for almost 5 years. It's gonna be 5 years this summer,
Wow.
which is insane. And
It's a long time.
yeah, I know. So I am 27 right now. So 5 years ago, I just graduated university. So I was like, I got a job at this software company as basically like a glorified receptionist, which I was like, this is not me living my best life. Like, this is so boring. My boss was a total, like, it was a horrible situation. I was not like fulfilled. So I was like applying to every job, just trying to, see anything. I actually went to university for international studies and translation. Like, I did a lot of French stuff. So I ended up using none of that. But that's for the best. I realized pretty quickly after I graduated that my French was not good enough to really like get a job using it, like as a the main thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's kind of fun that I can apply to? And if I'm being honest, I was just applying to everything. And then one day I got like a call back for Victoria Emerson, and I showed up to the interview, and it was just like the CEO in an old office. And he was like, I need help. He's like, I think I want to do stuff with influencers, and would you like be interested? And like, it was so bootstrapped. It was like, my boss is awesome. He used to work at Google, but it was like, just this guy was like, I sell bracelets, like, want to help me? And I was like, sure. My mom actually used to work, she was a CFO at Stella and Dot. So I knew like a little bit of jewelry stuff because of that.
Yeah.
So I started like that. I was basically doing just like random admin when I started. And then we grew like crazy. Like, we were in the Globe and Mail's like fastest growing companies for 3 years in a row. And it was basically all because of influencer marketing. So yeah. And there were some days at the very beginning where I was just like emailing everybody that I thought would be a good fit, which is literally how I met you. I was like, oh, like, let's just reach out. And then you were like, hey, sure, let's do this. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's how I got into it. It was like the most beautiful mistake, but everything happens for a reason, and I really love it. So
yeah. I mean, I think what you said about kind of just applying to everything and seeing what sticks is so huge. That is pretty much how I landed in this spot too. When you got hired, how many people were on the team?
It was just me and him. So it was literally like, when I say like, I just worked for like this dude, like it was just me and him. And like we, so technically there was an umbrella of companies. So there was like a couple other employees, but they didn't work for Victoria Emerson.
I see.
For Victoria Emerson, it was just me and him. And then now we've grown to 5 people. And I feel really cool because I'm the first employee. So I'm like, sometimes people come that are like, the same age or older than me. I'm like, oh, I know that bracelet. I can tell you exactly what bracelet that is just by looking at it. Yeah. Talents that mean nothing anywhere else. But yeah.
It's just a cool party trick.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question really fast. How did your boss know, like, one, that he wanted to reach out to influencers, and how did you know how to reach out to influencers?
I literally think it was just, it was 2017. So influencers in 2017 were very different than they are now.
Sure.
Especially like the scale that we were working with. So at the beginning, obviously, we're not working with like big budgets. We also aren't working with like big influencers because a lot of it was just, I'll send you a bracelet, you'll post a story. And like, I hope you actually post the story. Right.
Yeah.
And then he basically was like, I think this is important. I mean, like he knew that it was important.
Yeah.
And I did not know how to reach out. I was just like, I'm going to DM everybody I can and like try to make it as personal as possible and not just be like copy paste. Like, cause I know what it's like to get a copy paste message on Instagram, whether it's like an MLM or something that somebody's like, hey, girl boss or whatever. Right. So I was trying to make it personal. And I remember Instagram a couple times, was like, you can't send any more messages because I was working too hard. I was like, ooh, I might get us blocked. I'm sorry. But yeah, just honestly at the beginning, it was just as many as possible. And then obviously as time has gone on, it's become like quality over quantity, but I still sometimes if I have like a random half an hour, I'll like send some DMs.
That's incredible. I love that. How cool, like that he already knew 5 years ago that influencer marketing was going to blow up. That's how I know we're going to be employed for a long time.
Yes.
I know. And even if it like changes, like, you know, it's not the same as it was then. Like it's like, I remember when I first started blogs where it was always about like the blog, right? Like, and now it's about the reels, like that didn't even exist, or it's about stories, which were kind of new. Cause like Snapchat was still the like primary, you know, 15-second video app. So yeah, I think we're going to be employed for a while, but sometimes I think like, oh God, if it goes away.
I don't think
we have a whole episode on that because Lyssa and I are very much worrywart and are terrified that our jobs are going to be taken away from us one day. But I think we're okay. That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. I want to know so 5 years is a long time to stay in a job. I feel like at our age, or just kind of like in this generation that we're being brought up in. People used to stay at their jobs forever, and I don't feel like that happens anymore. So what is it that makes you stay? So like, what are you passionate about in it?
So for me, like, I just really like, it's a very small business, like I said, like, well, small in the amount of people that work there.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that I have been really grateful for and that has kept me at this job is that I basically have total freedom. Like since the first day, like when my boss was like, influencers want to like reach out to some, I was able to do that. And then when we moved on to other things, I was able to say, I really want to do X project. And he'd be like, sure, go ahead. Like, let me know if you need anything. And so I think like that kind of freedom has really given me opportunity to have like different eras at my job. Like the first part was, you know, kind of like cold calling in a weird way. And then I went through a period before COVID where it kind of felt like a sales job because I was traveling all throughout the US meeting some of our like best creators. And it felt like, you know, you get to meet them. And like, that was its own experience going to like big conferences. And then ever since COVID, it's been more of I've been focusing on collections, which is my favorite thing to do. So,
do you want to tell us a little bit more about the collections?
Yeah. So that's my favorite part of my job. It's definitely the thing that like it brings me the most joy that I do. So I like to think that we were kind of early on this trend, but I'm not sure if we were. I think we were, but basically it's like, you know, any collaboration with an influencer. For me, before I was in the industry, I actually didn't really follow many influencers, but I love YouTubers. So I kind of like use that as inspiration, I guess. Like I would watch YouTubers that would do collabs. Some of them like that have been canceled at this point, but like I was always really into like this is a really bad example, but I didn't even buy it. But I saw like the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star like makeup palette that like broke Shopify, and that was like in the first year of our influencer collections. And I was like, I want to break Shopify with like you know, something like that.
I love that.
So basically it's just, I reach out to an influencer. I say like, we work together already. Let's make a collection. They say, yeah, great. And then we basically get them to send us styles that they like on our website or like from, you know, whatever other inspiration they have. And then we work together with, you know, going back and forth on what styles and what beads and what plating of gold. And so that's something that's really cool for me because I get to own that whole process. So it's super satisfying compared to other jobs where like I have been in where you have like one part of like, you know, the big picture. What am I trying to say? The big picture. I get to see like the beginning and then the launch day is like so much dopamine in my brain. Like I know like when we launch out like noon, I'm like, okay, there's 100 people on the website. And then like the panic sets in. You're like, what if nobody buys all of this inventory that I told my boss we were going to be able to sell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, please let me spend all this money. And then like, oh, what if no one comes? But I mean, usually they come. So
usually that's so funny. I feel like that's really similar to like what Renee and I do, kind of like seeing projects through to completion. So I totally get what you mean about the dopamine hit.
Yeah. It's good. Sometimes I'll like turn on like the cha-ching noise on the Shopify.
Stop.
And I'm just like, ooh.
Oh, that's too funny. I feel like I would do the same.
I love that. I mean, maybe we can get some sort of, anytime someone listens to the podcast, we get some sort of notification and we all just like start dancing.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
I feel that. I love that.
Tell me a little bit about, do you have any like, I don't want to say issues, that's not the right word, but you live in Canada, and I'm going to guess you work primarily, if not 100%, with American influencers and businesses. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think 100%. There's like 2 Canadian influencers, maybe 3 that we work with. So yeah, I work almost all with Americans.
How has that worked for you guys? Obviously, it's been pretty successful.
Yeah.
Like, why US?
Well, if I'm being transparent, Americans spend way more money on this kind of thing than Canadians. Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Like, I don't have like a lot of examples of companies I would spend. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. Just like first of all, there's way more people in the US. Like there's more people in all of, there's less people in all of Canada than there are in just California.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's helped. And also I think a lot more Americans are on Instagram.
That is so interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Toronto's a massive city, but I mean, I'm not from Toronto, so I understand what it's like to be, there's like not many people. I mean, there are lots of people, but I'm rambling now, but
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's okay. So like, to me, that's really interesting because like, obviously demographics play a huge role in like a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
In terms of like sales strategy. Like, of course, our sales strategy looks quite a bit different than yours, but I just find that really interesting. I don't know. That's probably just me like nerding out. So that's fine. We can move on from my nerding moment. But I wanted to go back really quick to talking about the collections. A collection, and I know this because I've worked on the other side of them with you.
Yeah.
Is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a month-long process. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that you take those on single-handedly with multiple people right now is just like blowing my mind.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. So you guys have 5 people on your team. Do you see yourself burning out?
Honestly,
how do you deal with it?
I don't think I'm going to burn out. Maybe I'm already burnt out and like, this is just how I live. I don't know.
You're just operating in burnout mode.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I mean, burnout obviously happens. Like everybody has days where they're like exhausted.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this job, I mean, I have a good support system. I mean, like if I was like, you know, I can't make this timeline work, we have to push a collection or whatever. Yeah. Like with COVID, we had that happen a lot because obviously shipping delays and stuff like that. I mean, I actually have a collection coming up at the end of the month, which we just had to push like 2.5 weeks, and that sucks. But I was like, we want to make sure everyone has PR packages, and COVID had like delayed some rings. You know what I mean? Like we got to get the rings for the launch.
Yeah,
very important. So
I
can't remember your question. I hope I answered it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really like, I know what it's like to be in that position where you have like so much going on and you kind of power through it, especially if you have like a good support system around you. Is there anything that you do to like take time for yourself, or just like make sure that you as a human being are like still solid outside of work so that you can come in and like give your all to work?
Yeah, definitely. I am like, I don't think I'm lazy, but I have like 2 complete different personalities. Like I feel like at work, my anxiety makes me like super productive and like I'll get everything done right away. And then like when I'm off, like I am off. Like I'll still respond to emails and whatever after work. I know like it's toxic, but I still do it. But like I'm also able to like sit on the sofa and watch like 5 episodes of a TV show with my boyfriend after work. And like we can both be like, sorry, I have to respond to an email. Can you pause? And like, we look at each other like angrily, but you still finish the TV show. So like right now we're watching Better Call Saul, which I've never seen and I'm loving it. So I don't know. That's what I do at night is I just like unplug my brain and watch just whatever is on Netflix.
That's
like
good.
most people, I think.
Yeah. If it works, then it works.
Yeah.
Whatever
And
it
has.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I think that's like the key.
Mm-hmm.
Cats are the key to happiness.
Do you have any vacations planned soon? Since is Canada like pretty open now, or what is it like right now in Canada?
So it's really funny actually you say that, because on Monday, so that it's Wednesday today, 2 days ago, they lifted the provincial mask mandate. So before that, we've had masks everywhere the whole time. But like I've been to the grocery store and still like 90% of people are wearing masks. Everything was closed like fully over the winter. So it's been a really rough like past 3 months, because obviously it's been like, we've been basically like snowed in. Plus it's been, can't even go anywhere if we wanted to, like couldn't go to a restaurant. But right now we're open. And we're, for the first time since the pandemic, it seems pretty normal.
Okay. So if like things are like opening up a little bit more now.
Yeah.
So I know you guys like couldn't leave Canada for a while. Can you leave Canada now, or like and travel to the US?
We can. I don't know anybody who has, but
that is good.
But I can technically, and I might actually sometime soon. I hope to. I do have plans to travel like within Canada for the first time since COVID. So I feel like once I do that, I'll be braver and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's go international here.
Yeah, and then you can come down to like I've heard the conferences are coming back and all the influencer events.
Yeah.
Have you met? You were traveling in 2019, right? Here?
Yeah, I actually even traveled in 2020, like to LA, like a week before COVID. Yeah, and I remember like being on the plane, like wiping everything down like aggressively.
What is it like for you to like meet these influencers after you've had a relationship with them?
It's really like the first time I did it, I was so scared, obviously, because also you build up so much of like what the person's internet personality is. And like, you're like, are they going to be like how they are in real life? Are they going to be different?
Yeah.
And also they don't know me at all. Like they know me but they don't know what I look like, for example. Like I've had relationships with some people that I had for like 3 years, and then I met them and then I get stressed out like, oh, what if they're not even gonna know who I am if I'm sitting in a cafe, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And I've literally been in that position where I'm like meeting somebody and I feel like this mega fan because I know like their kids' names and like their shirt size. And here I am, they don't even know who I am. Yeah. But it's been really cool to meet people. I think it also took me off guard because like a lot of people are not super extroverted because obviously like I go on my, everyone goes on stories and they're like, talking and being kind of like a more open and animated version of themselves. Yeah. And it's really interesting to see like the real life conversations that you have with people. Like a lot of them are just, people like you. Everyone is just a regular person. I mean, it is really cool when you're like with somebody and they get recognized. That's really interesting. Like,
what is that like?
It is so surreal. Like it happened to me one time and I didn't really realize how popular this influencer I was with was. And we got recognized. Like it was, she got recognized like 5 times. And we were at this like brisket place. And I was like, man, like this is wild. I didn't say that. Obviously I was playing it cool. I'm like, of course this must be normal. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. And
I agree with you. I do think most of them are much more introverted than someone would think. And I think like, to me, like you said, they're just like normal people. I don't think I've ever, maybe there's been one experience when I've been with someone and they've been recognized and it blows my mind. It's just like, it's so strange to me because you just see them as like your coworker or like, you know what I mean? Just like a business relationship or a friend or whatever it is. And it's a whole other world, I think.
For sure. Really and then I've been in like the other situation where I'm like staring at somebody. I'm like, I think that person is like Insta famous. And I'm like, I'm too scared to ask.
That is so funny. I know. I don't think I would ever go up to someone, but like regardless, like Insta famous or celebrity, I would not. I'm just like, I don't want to bother anyone. Like that's my personality.
I know.
Going back to your role at Victoria Emerson, what are some goals that you have this year for yourself?
So one goal that I'm hoping to succeed, it's kind of an experiment more than a goal, I would say, is I want to do collabs. Like I said, that's my favorite part of my job. So I want to do that with other businesses. So that's something that we've never done. I don't even really know. I mean, I've seen a couple business collabs, and I kind of want to like tap into the influencer relationships that we have with another business, like shared relationships. So I'm testing that out. We have a collab coming up soon with a business, which I won't say what it is, but it's a skincare company. So I think it's like a good match with jewelry. Yeah. So
that's exciting.
That's something, hopefully that goes well. And if it does, then I am going to cold call basically every business and try to do it again.
Yeah. Then you're kind of like circling back. That's really cool.
Yeah. I think like a lot of what I do at my job doesn't take necessarily a lot of skill. It takes more just like a lot of, I guess, like footwork. Like you really got to just keep.
Well, I think it's like, it's that along with having the passion and like the ambition to set these goals that might seem like super lofty and like actually figure out how to go after them. And I think like that's definitely something that Renee and I can relate to. It might be like, I think we're really blessed to have a ton of freedom in our roles and like the ability to be creative and speak up and like say these kinds of things. And I don't think everybody has that, unfortunately. I would love to get to the point that everybody does, but I think like having that kind of like, I don't know, sets it apart and makes it a little bit easier to like go after those things.
Definitely.
Well, Taylor, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us. And we know that you work full time. So working outside of your normal hours and talking to us we're so grateful for. And I think this is going to be like such a hit. I think everyone's going to love hearing you because you had so many like words of wisdom to share. Do you have any advice for anyone that's wanting to work on the brand side of this industry?
Yeah, I would just say don't be afraid to reach out of nowhere to an influencer or to a brand. I would say I feel like it's obviously easier if you do already follow influencers and know which ones you would want to work with if you're on the brand standpoint. But yeah, just don't be afraid of it. Also, it's like a really new industry. So it's not like anybody actually knows what they're doing. Like everybody at some point is just learning. Like even if you are like an experienced influencer person, like I like to think all of us are, like you're not like 10 years, into this, like you're maybe 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So, and plus like technology changes so fast. And so influencer stuff changes really fast too. So don't be scared because you're probably just as new as everybody else trying to get into the industry.
Yeah, that is such a good point.
That's great advice too.
Yeah.
Well, everyone go check out Taylor. Maybe not unless you want to check out Taylor on her own Instagram. Go check out Victoria Emerson on socials to see what Taylor is doing. You want to promote anything else while you're here? Anything fun, exciting happening?
No, just Victoria Emerson, I think, pretty much. Yeah. Victoria Emerson Design. Check us out if you're looking for some accessories.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're thrilled to chat with you. This is actually the first time we've talked and met, through Zoom. So thank you for being here. I'm excited to make you be my friend now.
Yeah, I'm right after this. I'm going to creep you instantly.
Anybody who comes on this podcast, we are all automatically friends afterwards.
Yep. Awesome. Well, again, thank you again, Taylor, for being here. We are your right-hand gals, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.